from high above the Richmond International Raceway, just off of Interstate 95, right here in the heart of the Mid-Atlantic. The Metalheads Truck Series does battle on the short track tonight. Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Ghost Racing Network as we are back after we sat here through Mother Nature's fury in the form of hurricanes, a biblical tornado outbreak, but it is so good to be back up here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Booth as we get ready to go high-flying, high-octane racing action here on Ghost Racing Network. Let's join now down trackside, qualifying underway. Isaac Smallwood out there on the racetrack. Looks like he's going to slot into that third place position. Is the 318 machine. Looks to have the pole here locked up. Why did we go back up top? That is beyond me. There we go. That looks better. As I was saying, the 318 piloted by Matthew Cadana. He's going to have the pole here this evening, clocking in with a best lap of 21:49. And I guess the blimp is going to be the dominant view right here, right now. So let's go ahead, pull up tonight's race information. Throw it on the main screen for all you guys at home to follow along with us. Like I said, Ghost Racing Network, the place. Metalheads Truck Series doing battle out there on the racetrack. 67 degrees ambient air temperature. It is a muggy one. Clock it in at 93% water drain. Cloudy skies and 11 miles an hour on the wind side of things. That's not going to pose a problem, but it could be if we were at the mile and a half of the super speedways, help those trucks dance around a little bit. But that is not going to be the case here tonight in prime time. Is qualifying just about wrapping up here at trackside, about 4 minutes and 15 minutes in to that 5-minute session. Looks like we're going to have 22 drivers initially take the green flag here tonight. See if we can send it down race side now, or trackside, I should say. Keith Prince, I believe, out there on the racetrack. There he is. Currently on his warm-up lap in that 3 machine. Trying to get all the business dialed in under the hood. Put down a hot lap here. Looks good coming there off the corner. And just as I say that, that's going to put him right about mid-pack there in that 10th place position. You throw the ticker back up on the screen here. Again, want to thank everyone for joining us up here tonight as that field now gets stacked, racked, ready to rock and roll behind that iRacing.com pace truck. Last time these drivers were thrown on a short track, it was an old school showdown. It had all the makings of a barn burner race for the pass at the end, but tonight we're going 150 laps around this beast. 2 by 2, side by side here to start things off. And remember, folks, you cannot win this thing on lap 1. You have to be in it to win it, survive and be alive at the end. Save those tires, manage that throttle. Take care of those good years, and they will take care of you. And that's going to be some of the keys to success tonight as these drivers get rack stacked, ready to rock and roll. Most of the field now set behind that pace truck. So we should begin to roll off here momentarily. As I mentioned, Matt going to have the pole here, clocking in. A howitzer of a lap time. Matt Hayden on the outside of the 5 ride. He's going to roll off here, P2. Caleb Kleinert going to start here, P3. Isaac Smallwood, he has been fun to watch out there on the racetrack. Going to roll off P4 outside of him. Brent C. Evans going to start inside the top 5 in 5th. Mark Beverly, the boss from Salem, Ohio, going to roll off 6th. Well, Trailer, not Taylor, Trailer, I remember. in the 54 machine. Going to roll off here 7th. 8th belongs to Nick in the 16 machine. Clayton Woodby going to roll off here 9th. Keith Prince going to round out your top 10. Head cook, chief, and bottle washer Nate Cogville going to roll off 11th, while Dennis Steele rolls off 12th. As those positions are shuffling on me, 13th belongs to Colton Hardy. Dylan Paz going to round out your top 14. And I had it wrong. The other Haas's boss, Beverly, going to roll off here 15th, starting into the top 15. Ashley Ellison Jr., Michael Noonan, Jacob Ellison, Rusty Modesty, Callaway Evans, and Kevin Winker round out the 22 trucks that are going to take the initial green flag here tonight. This should be a great one as those lights go off on the pace truck. Which means next time by, we are turning it up to level 10. Gonna hear these V8s come roaring to life in the night sky here in Richmond. As that pace truck leads them through the 3 and 4 complex. Or excuse me, the 1 and 2 complex. Getting a little ahead of myself here, so amped up for this race. Down the backstretch here, under caution for the, well, pace speed, I should say. Haven't had a caution flag yet. Into turns 3 and 4. As we wait for that iRacing.com pace truck to make that turn down pit road, and it does. Matthew gonna have the button. Kick the clutch. Hope that rear end doesn't bust. We're green flag racing here from Richmond. 18 machine's going to shoot out in front. Single file for the first 2. Then we got a hornet's nest of race trucks just behind P number 2. First 3 now go single file. That's going to be Katana, Kleinert, and Hayden. They're in 3rd in that TRD-powered machine. Side by side, no surprise there. Under duress is Smallwood in that 4th place position. Trailer trying to follow him through there as he now gets a run on the bottom. Just as I say that, it's a 2x2 Noah's Ark situation. These drivers giving each other plenty of room right now, knowing, just as we discussed at the top of the race, you have to be around, have a truck to compete at the end. If you're banging the fenders off these things, that's not going to happen early. These lap times are going to fly by quick, fast, and in a hurry. In fact, your leader just ripped off the fastest lap of the race at a 21:86. As we stay focused right here on this battle. Hayden now hunting on the high side of the racetrack. Going to get all the biscuits wound out of that Toyota. Should be able to clear the 10 of Smallwood there, and he does, but he's going to keep him honest. As he keeps the pressure dialed up inside the cockpit of the 5. And for the first time tonight, let's go on board. Driver in that P number 4 position, Isaac Smallwood. See how he gets around this journey. See, they're just over 5,000 RPMs. Center of the corner starts to pick up the loud pedal going down the front stretch here. Getting close up to the fence, arcs it down into the corner, hard onto the binders. Here early on these tires where they're making all the grip. That low lane going to be the preferred way around this place, also the shortest way around. And just like that, we have 1 lap in the books. We're sub 23-second lap times right now. Go ahead and widen things back out here. As that Silverado is checking out of Dodge early on the competition. He is 2 to 3 tenths a lap faster right now And the car's in second through fourth place position, and you can see that starting to take effect out on the racetrack as he is literally gapping the competition here early. Very methodical line around this racetrack. You see that truck not wiggling, not getting tight in the corner, not pushing up the racetrack. You see the flames popping out of the exhaust when he gets off the loud pedal. Matt knows how to get around this place, that's for certain. And my God, a 21.94. Everyone else is in the 22-second bracket or higher. And caution out on the racetrack. Taking a look here at timing and scoring. Not seeing any notifications of an incident. However, Mark Beverly did jump to the pit, so I'm assuming possibly something to do with him. Oh my God, absolutely. He has pointed every which way but Sunday. See if we can go manual mode here. Roll this back. Don't want to spend too much time covering these cautions, per the request of the league owners. Let's go ahead, take a look here and see what happened to the 55. Ooh, he may have had some help there. Oh yeah, he got dunked. Going into the corner, comes up, tags the wall. He did like a redhead stepchild. And that's some big-time damage there for that truck here early. That's why he teleported it to the pits. So we now go back to the live side of things. Early caution here. Unfortunately, the 55 got yeeted. Little extra help getting into the corner there. You know, all these drivers attack this type of a racetrack. Richmond's very unique with their braking points. Perhaps, you know, just wasn't quite ready or didn't anticipate the 55 getting on the binders. Because of that, got into the tailgate section and the business end of that race truck and just kicked them off towards the safer barrier like a howitzer. And that truck was absolutely smoked. No one mattered to see that caution, the driver of the 318 machine. That crew chief, Spotter, being the voice of reason right now, as he had a gap. Forget a gap, he was in the next county in that NOS-powered machine, that 18 truck, just so fast here in the early going. However, as this race continues on throughout the night, it will take rubber. The characteristics will change. And how many times, even in real life, have we seen comers and goers at a racetrack like this? Clearly, it is dialed in right now, but will it be at the end? Those lights still on the iRacing.com pace truck. P2 machine, Kleinert in the 96, another Chevrolet. Chevrolet going to run 1-2 here. Up one position from where he started. He started P3, now runs second. Hayden slid back 1 to third. Smallwood. And that Hendrick Cars 10 truck. Great Lake and paint scheme on that race truck tonight. Got 2 Chevrolets, then 2 TRD-powered Toyotas. Those lights now go out on the pace truck. Give these drivers another opportunity to reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Get ready to go back to the green flag side of things here from Richmond. See what the 96 on the outside can do with the 18 here on this restart. Last thing you want to do is spin the tires, especially if you're up front. Into the Geico restart zone, green flag back in the air. He's going to put it through the floorboards. Another great execution by the 18 out front. Five going to throw a Louisville slider in there. Two Chevrolets, two Toyotas. Tell you what, it is weird seeing a Toyota badge on a Hendrick car's paint scheme. I'm going to have to get used to that. If I say Chevrolet, folks, I apologize. Obviously, that scheme made famous by Kyle Larson, who drives a Camaro. Back to ripping conveyor belt style here under the lights. "19 laps into this thing. Let's go ahead and run through the field for the first time this evening. Picking up right where he left off. Starting to stretch it out again. The 318, or the 18, excuse me. Timing and scoring says 318, but on the actual truck itself it says 18, so we'll work with the league guys to get that corrected. But that Chevrolet carries the torch. He is your leader. It's incredible to watch him pull away, how much quicker he is, and the rest of the competition right now is just stifling. Caleb Glider started third, runs in that second place position. Last time by, ran a 21.93 to leaders 21.78. The Arkansas man, 2023 Twisted Chassis Truck Series champ, Matt Hayden, currently in third, stalking the back of the 96. Smallwood even from the board from Hartford, Kentucky. Currently runs in that fourth place position, right where he started. Trailer, the David version, currently in fifth, up 2 spots to the good, as he runs inside the top 5. On board now with the 16. This is for that 6th place position. He's on the move as well. Continue to run single file here, going on board through the field. Petersburg, West Virginia, not too terribly far from this racetrack, as he follows the Napa Know-How truck around this place. Colton Hardy trying to give these boys hell in front of him. Oh, he gets a piece of the wall. We're going to get off of him. Don't want to invoke the broadcaster's curses. That is often strong with me. From Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Kevin, one thing you got to be watching out for is some severe weather Tuesday and Wednesday. Negative tilt pattern looking to set up over top of you. I know it's not racing related, but what I just got done going through, I'm going to give you the heads up right here, buddy, on this broadcast as he runs an 8th. Dylan trying to find a pass, a move around that 17 machine. However, he occupies that 9th place position, second biggest mover of the race. Up 6 positions from where he started as we now work lap 28 of the scheduled 150. Biggest mover, Ashley Ellison Jr. Started deep in this one, the next county over, up 7 positions early. Now finds himself inside the top 10. Would be just on the outside looking in. He is there. Should Ellison Jr. make a mistake, he currently sits in that 11th place position, while Michael Newman commands P12 from La Crosse, Wisconsin. Driver who was fast in practice, head cook chief in bottle washer from somewhere in the south. Throw it in hard and drive it out fast. taking his words right now. As he runs in 13th. Look for him to be strong in this race as these laps continue to wear on as he currently sits in that 13th place position. Steele from Jacksonville, Florida. He's had his share of hurricane fun this season as well, as Jacksonville got raked with winds and intense rains, not once but twice. Steele just inside the top 15th in that 14th place position. Heath Prince, Fairhope, Alabama. Hopefully he's an Auburn Tigers fan. 15th, Rusty Modesty, 16th place position. And again, as you get further on back, at least these groups of truck right here is 14th, 15th, and 16th. You could literally pitch a blanket over these guys. Winker runs 17th. Haas's boss Beverly from Ohio in the 22-18. Callaway. Jesse in the 4 machine in 19th. Jacob Ellison Jr. rounds out your top 20. It's the 55 of Mark Beverly. Unfortunately, we know what happened to him. He was a part of the first caution on the racetrack, I believe, ending his night early. It was a 91, goes up there and catches a piece of the fence. Check in back with our leader in Oh My God. Over a 2-second advantage for the 18 Chevrolet, as he is pretty much on autopilot right now. However, the battle for second, third, fourth. This is some high-octane, high-flying racing action right here, because it's okay to three-way. The guy you don't want to be in this case is the 5 of Hayden, because he's trying to play offense and defense. Did you see that? I don't know if he thought he had a run there, or the back of that truck said, I'm not sticking, and tried to step out on him, and he had to corral that thing. And if that wasn't enough, he's got Smallwood breathing down his neck just behind him in that Toyota. You know, maybe Smallwood did that as a Halloween joke. I don't know. I got to remind myself that is a Toyota every time I talked about Smallwood there. Ooh, the 5 got a piece of the fence there. A little self-inflicted concrete poisoning. That is going to open the door with the parting of the Red Seas. Just as that battle was getting hot, it starts to wind down a little bit. As we come around to complete another lap here. Sold out crowd here tonight at Richmond. So we're now 40 laps into the scheduled 150. We're going to step aside, go our first all-out coverage break. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to miss a thing right here on Ghost Racing Network. Race fans, good evening. Welcome back to Ghost Racing Network as we're coming off of our all-out coverage. Caution in the air. Number 2 on the evening. As you can see, pit road becomes the hottest joint in the building. 4 tires, 2 cans of Sunoco Racing fuel the call here for virtually all of these drivers. Cat-Anna leads the charge of the drivers that came down pit road. A couple guys stayed out here, including Winker there in the 42, now up 21 positions. Keith Prince as well in the 3 machine. And then the rocket ship gonna restart behind him in 3rd, that 18 machine. Tell you what, that Chevrolet has been FAST fast tonight. One thing he hasn't had to deal with, though, is dirty air. And there's a ton of it here at this racetrack. However, first time he's going to be behind competition for virtually the entire race. Put the pit strategery up there on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen for you guys. You can see Winker down on lap 12. So it's going to be on a little bit of a tire deficit, and the shoes here usually do prove to be of rather importance. Prince, lap 53. Take that back as that graphic starts to update. Now the 42 is going to come down pit road. Service being completed on that machine. See the jack going up there. Dr. Feelbaz coming off. Dr. Feelgood's going on, down and away. Nice execution from the 42 with Kevin Winker. All that going on, I thought he may be in some dirty air. I was incorrect. Trailer going to have the high side. There goes the iRacing.com pace card. Here we go into the Geico restart zone. He is going to send it back to the high-flying, high-octane racing action here under the lights in Richmond. He's going to take it from the high side of the racetrack, engage the afterburner in the 54 trailer. First field challenge we've seen tonight. Oh, don't do it. The 18's going to spin. Are you kidding me? What a save. Oh, I need a minute, folks. Send the paramedics to the broadcast booth. I can't believe what I just witnessed. Oh. Mr. Perfect in the 18. Had a set of cold shoes bite him in the teester. I guess he is going to be in dirty air after all. But how about the save? That wasn't code brown. That was code everything. And he jumped up on the wheel, said, not today. You're not going to the fence. Grabbed a hold of that truck. Slots into the 12th place position. Let's not do that again. I've had enough drama the past 2 weeks. His Christmas comes early for Trailer as he was gifted the lead literally. However, he was applying some pressure on the high side of the racetrack. Fires down the backstretch here into the 3 and 4 complex. Going to be good for about 0.6 of a second. over Hayden, and caution back out on the racetrack. This one gonna be for incident. Looks like we're gonna have multiple trucks involved here, including Kevin Winker, Jacob Ellison, I believe, as well. Let's take a quick peek at the GRN instant replay. Everything looks fine here. Oh, the incident happened in front of him involving the 6. He popped up in the black box because he came to just about a stop out there on the racetrack. So let's try this again one more time. .42, we were just talking about him. Timing and scoring out to lunch here on the return. Something happened with the 6. Clearly, he shouldn't be parked that way up near the high side of the racetrack. So let's just go old school here. You can see clearly damage on the driver's side of that Toyota. I'm going to bet he had some help here. Did the right thing, locked it down. Oh, yeah, we had a melee. 2x2 side by side. All is well, but not for long. Comes up, kapows the back of the 00. That's going to send him up the racetrack. Round and round we go, and that's going to plug the hole. Multiple drivers involved there. Truck getting the worst of it there. Going to be the driver of the 6, Rusty Modesty. So we now send it back to the live side of things. Very similar to what happened here last night. Off a restart, close quarters action. Someone jumps on the binders a little quicker, perhaps, than the other driver anticipates. Contact is made, and mayhem breaks loose from there. The 18, who has been a SpaceX rocket, you've been following him. He had a dominating lead. Command. Caution flag came out. Put some new shoes on it, and he about bent that truck in half. Miraculous save. Almost KO'd the broadcast booth in the process. He's going to restart P13, it looks like. I want to thank everyone again for tuning in here to Redline Racing Network. However you get this great content, welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones. And in fact, you want to join the family, get notified each and every time the Metalheads Truck Series does battle out there on the racetrack. It's simple. Smash the like button, ring the bell. Come home to 6 days of high-flying, high-octane racing action right here on Redline Racing Network. That way you won't miss any. Our racing content, all the esports sim racing action right here on our YouTube channel. That iRacing.com page truck's going to pull off. Hold your breath, folks. It's about to get rowdy one more time again. Barney, you better duck. Here we go. Great restart by Trailer. Shades of the 18. Tell you what, who's ever leading this thing really gets a great jump. These drivers that basically take these guys into the restart zone really doing a great job here. And sometimes cautions breed cautions, and that's what currently is happening out there on the racetrack. As we go back to the yellow side of things once again, perhaps involving the Beverly boys. Go look back here and take a look at Haas Beverly. He's going to be in the 22 machine. Try to roll this back again. 22 in the middle, not where you want to be. The Liquid Death Machine, no pun intended. Going to kind of squeeze him up maybe just a little. Oh, the Helveline 4 going to come down, cramp him up a little bit. Probably going to get ugly coming off the corner, and it does. You see the 22 back of that truck starts to step out. And oh no. Did the 18 get by that? Oh. We got to go on board. We got to roll this back, go on board with the 18. There's still trucks going backwards. This is what I was talking about earlier. Slow this down. This is going to be the view from the 18. I mean, look how tight that is. Rack, packed, stacked right on top of each other. Beverly, the back edge is going to say, not today. It steps out when he puts the power down. Liquid Death Machine goes up in the air. Oh, gets skinny. He's going to get through there. Ha! Tell you what, Lady Luck is on his side. So we now go back to the live side of things. Wasn't dealing with that type of stuff when he was out there. He was snake bitten on the restart. Now he has his hands full. Is Ganana still in that 13th place spot. Trailer playing the smackdown here in the recent going. Up 6 positions, having himself a night here under the lights in Richmond. Let's take a look at the weather once again. Sim time clocking in just after 10 p.m. 22:03. Wind's now died down a little bit, now to 8 miles an hour. Temperature, beautiful. You can't ask for anything really better in the Mid-Atlantic this time of the year. 66 degrees, however, it is awfully muggy. For the end of October, 97% humidity, partly cloudy skies. Track temp, 68 degrees. And that's why these guys are having problems on these restarts. These tires are cold. It takes a few laps to get some temp in them. And if you're not careful, say no more. You've already seen what happened play out here tonight on cold tires. So we get rack stacked, ready to rock and roll again. Get rid of the pace truck. Green flag back in the air. He has those restarts on cruise control. Hayden now going to go in deep. Eaton on the bottom. Single file P1, P2. Nick in the Hornet's nest. The Napa know-how machine. Going up against Kleinert in the 96 Chevrolet. Oh, man. The fun just keeps a-coming as we are now uncorking a caution frenzy here. Sometimes in 3 cautions in a row like this, the mental stability inside the cockpits of these race trucks starts to break down. These drivers start to get antsy. And that only leads to more potential issues out there on the racetrack. Let's get the notification here that Dylan Pass may have teleported to pit lane here. And let's take a peek here. Everyone kind of scattering. 11 down off the racing surface. Take a look here at Jesse Calloway. Couple trucks banged off each other a little bit there. Oh, the Liquid Death got served, and he got helicoptered into the catch fence. Parts go raining into the grandstands and immediately teleports out of here. Instant KO. That's about as violent of a crash as you'll ever see here at Richmond. Someone wake those replay guys up over there. Making me hunt for these cautions up here, trying to do 10 things at once, but hey, that's what we live for. Send it back up to the blimp, bringing us beautiful pictures here tonight under the lights. If you've ever been through this section of the country, literally right off Interstate 95, wouldn't recommend driving through Richmond on 95 during the day as the traffic is horrible, but hitting there at night, it is beautiful, all lit up. Literally right through the heart of the city, the Marlboro plant, Marlboro everywhere. That section of the interstate. Beautiful drive. It's under caution once again here. Had a clean run after that first caution early, and now tempers perhaps starting to boil over just a little bit. These trucks are racked, stacked on top of each other. Someone slips or misses just a little bit. That's how this carnage has been unfolding. A lot of the three-wide action. And just not a lot of room here, especially, if you talk about a preferred line. Trailer's going to have to do it again. And as we're under caution here from Richmond, we're going to step aside for the first time, pay some bills, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Redline Racing Network. Breaking in hard out of commercial here as the fireworks continue to fly. He's left to pay the bills under caution. To go back green, looks like we get another caution. Wholesale pit stops taking place on pit road. Matt Hayden in the 5. Let's get a little bit better view. There we go. Hayden in the 5 on pit road. Caleb Kleiner there in the 19 machine. Colton Hardy there coming off of pit road. Drag race off of pit road. Thought we were safe to go to a commercial break there. Got to take care of the sponsors. We just went on a caution-infused stretch, and that looks to continue. Your leader, first time tonight, Ashley Ellison Jr., up 16 positions. And again, I know it says 133 in timing and scoring of that, but however, that truck is stamped 13. Ellison leads the lap, then peels off down pit road. That's going to turn over the keys. Man from Wisconsin. Your custom homes extraordinaire, Kevin Winker. He's now going to have the best view on the racetrack here when we go back to green. Trailer in the 54. He's been strong here. And Connors, Georgia. Hayden continues to run strong. Air in third. In your 2023 Truck Series champion. Eagle 1 paint scheme on that vehicle tonight, looking good as always. Kleiner's going to line up here fourth. Colton Hardy in fifth. Lights go out on that iRacing.com Chevrolet, which means we are going back green flag racing this time by. Can we end this race on a green flag run? We're about to find out. Winker Nation at the helm. Great restart there from Winker in the 42. He's going to get the whole shot on the high side. Sends it down back into the corner. These V8s are hanging off the rev limiters once again. Oh, we got problems. Around goes to 17, the 16. That Napa know-how machine just murked the fence. Boys, what are we doing? It's a field day out on the racetrack. I'll tell you what, this is not what these drivers want to see. Because all of this mayhem on the racetrack is just, I really believe, infusing and just being a big-time catalyst here with this caution stretch we just cannot seem to get away from. That truck is, well, it's seen better days right now. And here at Richmond, you don't get a lot of time in the pits to work on these things either. Cold tires may have been a culprit, could have played a role here. Let's take a look, see what went wrong. 6 gets loose off the top. See, he's trying to catch it. Catches it once, and then the 17 starts to do the slide for life. Everyone locks on the binders, can't get woed down. Oh, man, the Haviland ride got jacked up into the air. His back tires still aren't on the ground. Hayden involved, the 6. Rusty Modesty. Head cook chief and bottle washer. Cogdell there as well. Great looking paint scheme on that 00 tonight, though. Tailgates all but punched in. You can see the Napa Auto Parts machine, the piece of his flashing there, just blowing down the racetrack. Safety crew going to have to come up, pick that up before we go back green. That's going to allow Winker to keep command here. At 54, truck has been strong. Kleinert as well in 3rd. But don't look now, but look who is back up to 4th. Almost wasn't fair when he was out there leading this thing, but he had his own troubles. All these cautions have really helped the 18 come back towards the front here, as he has been ruthless on these restarts. Let's do it again. Winker gonna have the button. Trailer on the inside. Cadana Kleiner, row number 2. Let's see what the 42 decides to do this time as we approach the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air once again. Let's get back down to business. Working lap 98 of the scheduled 150. Oh, good Lord, hold on to it, buddy. Colton Hardy, I believe, in the 97. That wasn't Hardy. Kleiner in the 96. And I believe a very similar story here to what we've seen earlier and over the course of this race. We don't even have to go back to the instant replay for this one. We can just roll this back. I believe the tires are just going to give up on him. Comes here through the corner again. Close quarters racing here, almost 3 wide. Keep your eye on the 96. Watch that for those front tires there. See, he's chasing it up the hill. Yep. Found the spot where the Waffle House dumped the bacon grease, and around he goes. However, does a good job locking it down, does not come back up the racetrack. That's going to clear a path for all these other trucks to get by. Nonetheless, scary moment there for the 96 machine as he gets it fired back up, drops it in gear. Is that dark voodoo black cloud has loomed over its speedway and raining caution death upon the field. 2016, starting to get some of those repairs made. And I guess that's the silver lining for a lot of these trucks now that have been involved. Incidences on the racetrack, they're getting multiple attempts to come down pit road here and to work on these things. The problem is, you don't get a lot of time to do it. That Haviland EcoBoost F-150 back there. I mean, heck, he had his back tires off the ground for a hot minute. High pacing continues here under the lights from Richmond. And again, folks, if you're just tuning in, the open of this race, other than a caution right off the rip, had some great green flag runs. And then we just somehow got into this scenario where we can't stay green to save our life. However, it looks like, well, before I say that, I'm going to wait. Lights go out on that pace truck. Trailer, indeed, going to have the lead now, able to get around Winker. He was up 20 positions, not 10, but 20. Going to restart here on the inside lane. Smallwood in third. Bad Fast 18 in fourth. Rounding out your top five, Clinton Woodby. Oh, the 18 almost ran the 97 down the... Rewind, that is ugly. We quickly get 2 by 2. Now single file for the front three trucks now. That's going to be Trailer, Smallwood, and Canana. Lane running here. Whoa, 18 got squirrely there again. He knows he's running out of time. That 18 machine must have been listening to me. I said he was fast. Just went the fastest lap of the race as he goes purple across the board. The 21.75. These drivers right now are really exploring the space. They're using all of the racetrack. The 18 has almost made it back to the front, is now. He is giving the business to the back of that Toyota. Oh, not again! Our snake bitten twice in the same race. Deja vu. Just gotten back to the front. And it looked like we wound the tapes back to about an hour ago. Is those Goodyear Eagles on the back of the 18 said, not today again. And he has to lock it down and save it. Under caution here once again from Richmond, north of 100 laps completed. We're going to step aside, take our final commercial break. We'll be right back with the remainder of this race under the lights from Richmond momentarily. Race fans, welcome back to Richmond, Virginia, under the lights here on Ghost Racing Network. Matt Metler is always in the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth. We are trying to turn the tides here and get away from the ugly cautions that have been plaguing majority of this race now. And the more I watch how these incidents break down, not saying everyone, but really believe this cold racing surface, perhaps prime suspect. Trailer, your leader. He's anything but trailer. Smallwood runs second. Clinton Woodby P3. Current biggest mover of the race. You find him in fourth. That's Colton Hardy from Petersburg, West Virginia. Matt Hayden runs in that fifth place position, while Michael Newman finds himself in sixth, slotting in seventh. Brent Evans, Cogdell finds himself in eighth from somewhere in the south. Literally, taking his words. Ninth, Dennis Steele, and all the heartbreak continues for the 18 machine. In fact, I'm done talking about him the rest of the night. I feel like every time I talk about him, something bad happens. Let's get the graphics off of that driver. Send it back up here to the front. Calm before the storm. Get ready to unleash chaos here once again. See these drivers now trying to build some heat in these tires. Because again, I think that's been a big part of when things have went wrong. iRacing under caution, or I should say racing under, can't even talk now. Some drivers say tire scrubbing builds heat, others say it doesn't. But I think just because of the amount of instances we've had on the racetrack tonight, try to heat them up. Every advantage to get those tires hot. Take it while you can. Lights now go out on the pace truck. Trailer again going to elect the outside lane. Two Toyotas at the point. Time to boogie. Barney's getting a workout in the flags. Oh, we twitched. Spun the tires there a little bit. It's a bonk from the 92. Sets them straight and off we go. Smallwood coming up the challenge now. He's feeling feisty. Working lap 122 of the scheduled 150. '54 fighting hard on the outside. 97 caught a piece of the fence there. It's Colton Hardy. Side by side for third. We got a hornet's nest of brewing right back here in that seventh place position. Let's go on board with the driver of the 96 machine. Ooh, almost gets into the back of Newman. As I often say, catching him is one thing, passing them is another. And Anna able to make the pass. Jump now to 7th. Kleiner was up near the front of this piece too at one point. Got caught up. Ooh, look at the 18. These guys are just bad loose. And it just seems to happen almost out of nowhere. Look at, oh! Yep. Going back to the front. Broadcaster's curse is strong with me tonight. Side-by-side drag race, shot for special. 54 doing the jig there on the high side. That's going to allow Smallwood to have his first lead on the evening from Hartford, Kentucky. '97 Colton Hardy now runs in that second place position. Talked about at top of the broadcast, comers and goers. Late in this race, but just north of 20 laps to go. Isaac Smallwood enjoying his first lead here as he starts to stretch it out a little bit over Hardy now. Trailer was strong. Looks like perhaps his truck is off just a little bit, struggling for speed perhaps in the center of the corner. Just as I say that, he picks it up. Look who is not giving up. He is still fighting. The name we shall not mention. Trailer continues to work the bottom. That's going to allow Matt Hayden to get into this battle too, as well as these two trucks continue to run side by side. Kleiner now joining this battle. All that going on. Last time by, Smallwood ran a 22:14. And Colton Hardy's 22:37. Start to stretch things out and perhaps a truck off the racing surface there. The Napa know-how machine as well, however, we do stay green. Newman there in the 12 ride. Runs 16th, Ashley Ellison Jr. 15th. Side by side, just up ahead of him. We now go back up to the point. When Smallwood looks in his rearview mirror, he's loving what he's seeing. However, there's not too many more trucks between Smallwood and the Ghost. Oh, don't do it again. I can't watch. I'm serious. Every time I even think about mentioning the driver's name of that Chevrolet, it starts to twitch, point every which way but straight. Now as they battle, let's see now if The 54 trailer can start to reel these two in. And again, you run max times around this racetrack. You can't do it side by side. You got to be able to bring it down to the bottom and then carry that momentum up off the corner. And when you have someone on the outside, it kind of pinches you down. Costs you a little bit in the tire department too as well, especially if you get caught side by side for a handful of laps or so. Laps remaining. And we close the history book here tonight. After the final page is written, coming to the checkered flag, how will it end? Ooh. These trucks are just starting to get evil on these guys. Almost 0.8 of a second fall off right now from their best laps of the race. Smallwood, however, trending the best in that department as he is your leader and starts to pull away a little bit. Looking like the 18 of earlier in this run. Or race, I should say. Can the 18 recover from self-inflicted gunshots wounds? Not once, but twice. Think he's going to run out of time. You know what he needs, folks, but I'm not even going to venture there with the amount we've had. Smallwood just needs to be nice and easy here. Doesn't need to be super aggressive out there on the racetrack. I know he's got a fast guy behind him. That's 0.2 faster. However, that lead is still north of a 1.5 seconds. Just be fluent here, hit your marks. Let the spotter, let the crew chiefs do their job. Is the driver focused out the front windshield? Don't be looking for the traffic. Don't be looking to see who's coming. Let those guys do their job. So easy to miss here at this racetrack. Gentleman's handshake lap currently ongoing. Working lap. There's 5 laps to go, I should say. Looking like Kyle Larson at times this season. The Iceman, especially under all that pressure right now late in the race. Nobody wants to see a yellow. Perhaps more than the driver that's in second place right now. Guy who wants it to say lean, mean, and green, Smallwood. No! I had to say it. Caution. Isaac Smallwood, I owe you an apology. I am sorry. Can't make this stuff up, guys. I'm telling you. Here comes the pace truck. Something tells me the driver of that 10 machine may be madder than a Keebler elf that got demoted to Fudge Packer seeing that yellow come out. See if we try to fake some of these guys out hitting pit road. Oh, yeah. So we're going to probably try to have some takers here. Here they come. Clinton would be on back. It's going to be 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, everyone from 11th on back, all coming down pit road. There's Ashley Ellison Jr. in the pits. Michael Newman. It's a bad camera angle. There we go. Nate. The 00. Haviland Machine. He had some airtime tonight, literally. So these race trucks going to peel back off onto the racing surface. This now is going to invoke overtime. And why not? We should have seen this coming. In the words of Phil Collins, we should have felt this in the air tonight. And I was wrong. It's not Hendrick cars on the 10. It's like Buttman cars. Just happened to notice that for the first time tonight. However, it sure does look like Kyle Larson's paint scheme. In fact, I guarantee that's who inspired it. And Mad Matt, after everything that truck has been through this race, find a way to punch his ticket into victory lane here. Isaac Smallwood had this thing wrapped up, and I've already apologized to you, bro. I am sorry I even had to mention it. Smallwood, your leader. 18's going to line up second. Toyota Odd Chevrolet on the action on the front row. Does it take more than one overtime to get this race in? Well, if you go by some of the trends we've seen earlier in the race, that's certainly possible. Not out of the realm at all. Matt Hayden there in 5th, your 2023 champ. Trailer, 6th. Mr. Beck, the blue himself, Dylan Pass in 7th. Brent Evans, let's go up to the front. Here we go. Let's go overtime racing here from Richmond. And Smallwood gets the restart of his life. 97 comes up, tries to snook the door. The 18 does not have anything to want of it. Drag race down the backstretch. Oh, he's going to hit him. He's going to take out the 18. The caution came out. We didn't even need it because he saved it again. You boys got your money tonight tuning into this race. That's right, the 18 going to come say something about that. You know he did not like that. Not sure if there's an RC in this race or if this is iRacing caution. But another masterful save there from the cockpit of the 18. All these drivers that took tires, this really starting to fall into their lap. 3 laps back on the board once again. Smallwood continues to lead. Trailer going to find himself back in second. Does the 18 return the favor? That's the biggest question on my mind right now. Do we see payback? Can Smallwood hold on for the win? Or does Trailer have something up his sleeve in the 54, or even Colton Hardy? Just dished it out there. Gave him the old chrome horn. Great looking winning bid paint scheme on that 97 machine tonight. It's like the eye being inside a Cat 5 hurricane right now. Absolute calm, the still of the night on the racetrack. In a matter of moments, we're going to go from zero to all-out trench warfare, World War II style, here again at Richmond. Keep your eye on the 54. Or excuse me, not the 54, the 97 and the 18 in row 2. See if there's any more beef, what's for dinner between those two. Smallwood has been great on these restarts. Fantastic execution on the last one. Now he's got to do it again. Pace truck pulls down pit road. Overtime, round 2 live and underway as of right now. 2 laps remaining. Smallwood clean. Fires down the backstretch. It is a side-by-side John for special out of 3 and 4 between Trailer and Mad Matt. They're still deadlocked together. But on the final lap, firing down the backstretch for the final time, Isaac Smallwood looking to do big things under the lights in prime time. Haven't you heard? Big things come in small packages. Isaac Smallwood's going to bag one here in Michigan. What a drive from the driver of the 10. And I'm telling you, anything but a win is probably Heartbreak City for the 18. What a recovery, though, for the 96 of Caleb Kleinert. Top 5, Smallwood. You watch him burn it down, get all the rest of the good out of those tires. Canana comes home second. And David Trailer in third as the 10 burns it down in front of a sold-out crowd. He earned that one. Fierce competition behind him, stayed out there, did not pit. As we now look to talk to our top 3 drivers here this evening. Going to give them a moment to celebrate with their team. We send it back up to the Goodyear blimp. And again, we're looking for Smallwood, Canan, and David Traylor Jr. What a race here at the end. 2 overtimes. Joining me now up in the Tony Trapasso Memorial booth, your winner here tonight from Richmond, Isaac Smallwood. Matt, up top, you got a copy there, boss man. Going to try him here one more time. Sometimes third time is the charm. Well, we can always do this. As drag and drop not wanting to work in the Discord. Now joining me now in the broadcast booth, Isaac Smallwood, your winner tonight. Matt up in the Tony Trapasso Memorial booth. You got a copy there, hotshot.
Yeah, what's going on, buddy?
Man, you're what's going on tonight, man. That 10 truck really seemed to come alive as those laps went on. And then we had restart after restart. And I owe you an apology. With 3 laps to go, I said the last thing you want to see is a caution. And as soon as I said that, the caution flag came out. I invoked the broadcaster's curse on you. I had a pit in my stomach. But how were you able to hold off such great competition on those restarts in overtime and get the win here tonight?
I was just giving the truck all she had, debuting a new sponsor for the truck, and we were just able to make it stick. We had like a 30-lap tire disadvantage, and I kind of took it easy throughout that last run there. I think we put on lap 88, and I was just kind of taking it easy, trying to save them for a late race caution, and it just kind of worked out in my favor. I was able to save enough, and then I was pushing whenever I needed to at the right time.
You absolutely hit the nail on the head. Talk to me about those restarts there, especially in overtime. What was the emotion? What was it like inside the cockpit of that race truck for you? And how were you able to not do it once, but twice when it mattered the most out there for you to get this win?
Man, those restarts are hectic because you never know whenever you spin the tires in the restart zone, or you get loose going into 1 or coming off of 2. I mean, you just never know really after the heat cycle. So we were just kind of holding on and praying and just trying to keep going forward.
Yeah, well said. Great analysis and breakdown there. And I got to ask you about that track temp tonight being rather on the cool side. Was that where some of the issues with the cautions were stemming from? It seemed like, after you take a trip down pit road, perhaps those Goodyears didn't have a lot of heat in it. And, some of these guys, the back end was just checking out, and perhaps a catalyst with a lot of the extracurricular activities that happened out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, I don't know if the track temp had to do anything with it. I think there was just more people just driving over the top of their heads.
10-4.
I mean, I'm just being honest. But the track temp, I think it was a perfect track temp. I mean, the trucks were still getting loose. I don't know if they did a horsepower increase or what, but these trucks were actually fun to drive here tonight, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Well, absolutely, man. And it was fun going on board with you guys. And you're right. They were a handful at times, and it seemed like you guys were having a great time out there putting on a show. Before I cut you loose, man, who do you want to thank who helps you get it done?
Yeah, I'd like to thank David and Colton Hardy, my teammates, teammate for P3 and then P4, I believe. So first top 5 for all 3 of us this year. And BudmanCars.com, Michael Williams, he's been a good sponsor of mine for 2 years now. So we're looking to keep the momentum forward.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen, Isaac Smallwood, goes big time here in prime time. No tires, no problem. Able to hold off not one but two overtime restarts to claim the victory tonight. Thanks for joining me up here in the booth, bud.
Thank you, brother.
That again tonight is your winner. Next up, driver I feel like suffering Heartbreak City right now. So good in the start of this race, had an absolute missile. But a couple incidents on the racetrack. He was fun to watch him drive through the field. Comes up just a little bit short with a solid, stellar performance tonight. Mad Mac, you got a copy? Matt up in the booth, bud.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, dude, walk me through this race tonight, buddy. You have probably the fastest truck out there on the racetrack. In fact, that first stint, I mean, you were checking out for the competition. You had almost a 3-second lead. Then we started to get into those cautions breed cautions, if you will. And unfortunately, one of those restarts, it looked like those tires just jumped out from under you. And you about killed me up here in the broadcast booth, buddy. Not once, but twice. I mean, you had to fight through adversity tonight. So many things didn't go your way. How were you able to rally and put that truck P2 when all was said and done?
Man, I had to give her everything she had. That first stint was amazing. I felt like I was in a really good groove. I wasn't pushing too hard in the beginning, and it felt good. And then I don't know, that with that stage caution came out, that restart, I was starting to get throttle happy, and I'm surprised I saved it. But yeah, coming through the field sucked tonight. It was interesting to say the least.
Yeah, that save that you had, I mean, I just want to touch on that for a moment. I mean, that thing was pointed at the fence, and you just got up on the wheel and manhandled that thing. I couldn't believe, what I just witnessed. I was just talking about just how laser focused you've been in that and how fast of a hot rod you've had. And just as I was saying that, that's when that incident kicked off on the racetrack, and I was having to scrape myself off the floor of the broadcast booth, man. I'm not going to lie to you. But
I completely hear you there. Man, I didn't know how to think there. I just had to keep moving forward. All that dirt racing came in handy though for that save. Yeah, that was definitely a heartbreak. I feel like it could have been up front a lot more if that didn't happen.
A lot of times from my experience up here in the booth, when you have a driver that has such a strong vehicle like you had all night, and things like that happen, sometimes that just sucks the air right out of your sails. But that wasn't the case for you. That seemed like it gave you all the more motivation to go out there and fight, and that's what you did. And you come home P2, man. What a drive, heck of a wheel, man. What a show you put on. Who do you want to thank who helps you get it done, bud?
I'd really like to thank all the guys at CCR Esports, Caleb, Ashley, and Jacob. It's nice being a part of a team. We all help each other out week in and week out, and I feel like that's contributed to getting faster every week. I'd like to thank Five Star Tire Specialties for being on the truck, Majula Say Speed Shop, just all the guys that support me.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Master of the save tonight multiple times under the lights at Richmond. Had a bad fast truck, but did not let adversity get the best of him. That is the driver of the 18, Matt Cadana, comes home in that second place position. Thanks for joining me up here in the booth, bud.
Thank you.
And certainly last but not least, the 54 was putting on a show out there tonight. David Trailer, not Taylor. Welcome to the Ghost Racing Network broadcast booth, bud.
Yeah, appreciate it, Matt.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. You've definitely had a heck of a night out there on the racetrack. Walk me through your race tonight. How are you able to put yourself in a position to come home with a podium in a race that was quite chaotic at times?
Kind of like Isaac said, just try to take my time there. I know passing's kind of hard here. You kind of have to just send it and hope it sticks. So kind of just took my time in the first stage. Made up some track position on guys that just I guess wore their stuff out a little more than us. And then unfortunately, a teammate got a little bit of a speeding penalty during the caution. Put me on the front row. And then, like you said, the unforced error by the 318. These things are slick. You can cough on it and it'll spin out. So finally got us some clean air. Was able to get some laps in. And then decided to pit once I knew we'd make it on fuel, and that's kind of where the chaos started. Some different strategies, some different lines of cautions there. I think we would have been okay if we just had a little bit fresher tires there. I did everything I could to hold on. I was pretty much driving it at about 98% there, trying not to wreck or wreck somebody else. But it definitely made it fun all night.
Yeah, you were certainly up there on the wheel. And, you mentioned the tires, and I know I asked, Isaac about this as well, but you really seem to excel when you got some wear and tear on those tires. How are you able to drive that truck on this racetrack tonight that was clearly slick and, and very abrasive to those Goodyear Eagles? What were you able to do inside the cockpit that gave you that longevity in the 54 tonight?
Really can just kind of attribute that to racing a lot on dirt. The two guys that finished ahead of me both have probably more experience than I do on dirt. Once it gets loose, that's when we get fast. And then you can kind of drive a little better off the corner. You can kind of drive it through the corner and use the right rear once the right front kind of wears down, and pick up speed where other guys wouldn't be comfortable. So they're throughout the laps. Your lap times will kind of level off for a little while. You can start picking up speed, and that's kind of what I use. Like I said, just dirt tracking it and driving it off the right rear.
Well, I'll tell you what, hearing that now from three of you drivers tonight, I need to get myself on the dirt track side of things, and I need a coach. So hopefully that could be you, because if that makes me drive like that out there, I am all about it. Watching you guys put on a show, especially in overtime, was absolutely thrilling up here in the booth, man. Congratulations on a P3 finish. Before I cut you loose, who do you want to thank who helps you get it done, my friend?
Oh yeah, first off, thanks to my teammates Isaac and Colton. Really proud of these guys for a top 4 for the whole team. Thanks to Nate for putting this league on and all the sponsors that make it possible for us to come out here and do this every Monday. Shout out to you over at Ghost Racing Network. I love going back and watching the broadcast. It's always fun to hear another perspective on it. Thanks to Mushroom Top Tea. A great friend of mine has a tea company, so if you're interested in that, go to mushroomtoptea.com. And then thanks to my dad watching at home and my wife for letting me do this.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Wants to thank his partners, sponsors, and ultimately put on a driving clinic out there on the racetrack, especially as those Dr. Feelgood's What to Feel Bads is his absolute insane talent showcased out there on the racetrack. That is the driver of the 54, David Traylor. Thanks for joining me up here in the booth, bud.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, Matt.
And that'll wrap up our interviews for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And it has been a thriller. Everything you expect from Richmond here tonight, we've seen out there on the racetrack. The close quarters battles, the calamity, the tempers boiling over, and yet a phenomenal clutch performance in overtime from Isaac Smallwood gets him the victory. What a race. What a great way to come back to the broadcast booth after a couple weeks of Mother Nature's fury here in South Florida. But unfortunately, it's come to that point in time of the night where we got to shut this thing down. I want another 130, 140 laps out there, especially after the end of that race. Cannot thank all the partners, sponsors, all the men and women behind the scenes, and the drivers that make this race possible. Without your contributions, this certainly would not be such a great league that it is, the Metalheads Truck Series Racing Leagues. I want to thank all you guys for what you do behind and on the scenes. And as the late, great Tony Trapasso used to say, as you walk down the road of life this week, do us all a favor. Don't play in traffic, and we'll see you next time right here on Ghost Racing Network.